The first day I started, I went like 1 for 21. There was like little things that I was missing, and it was just kind of like small words, and then it's night and day difference. My conversion overall was about 14%. I was targeting 20, just trying to set my expectation high going into it. And so the new script you guys came out with, that thing was money. I mean, I was able to
Oh,
read it damn near like word for word
yeah.
and convert. If I do 4 calls, I'll close 2. I would say more so have trust in your own ability and believe in yourself. To at the end of the day, a lead's a lead. So
Yeah.
all it is it's a conversation.
Did you ever get the finalized numbers by chance on what happened with the calls?
Yeah, so I got a rough number just kind of based on like general. I just tracked the average premium, right? So it was right around a little bit over, but I bumped it down to about 1,000. My numbers, I mean, I just called it 14,000 AP. After the advance, about 10.5. And then I did have a couple fall off from the inbounds, just FEX, right? It is what it
Yeah.
is. Buyer's remorse, some with credit card payments. I can't even really consider. I mean, it charged back, right? Or it didn't go through.
Yeah.
So I factored in, it was 78%, which is better than 70 than the norm, right? So that left me off 8,085
Hmm.
minus the spend, the expense, then it's a net of about 5,500.
Got it.
So, I mean, just based on that, kind of run those numbers. I'm not necessarily like a numbers guy, to be honest. So when I do that, I was like, fuck, dude, if I done that in less time, you're more profitable, right? But again, this isn't, I wouldn't say it's like a supplement for me, right? Because my days are full of just kind of normal mortgage appointments and just running those. So I was just kind of fitting them in when needed. And then I just kind of had some additional time off. I think I started this right before Christmas. And then I didn't really work much then. And even when the first day I started, was probably the worst I did. I went like 1 for 21, right? So
Yeah.
looking back, I'm like, damn, had I done all those in maybe a week's time, obviously the skill would have been picked up right away.
Yeah.
And if I'm converting, my conversion overall was about 14%. I was targeting 20, just trying to set my expectation high going into
Yeah.
it. And yeah, there was definitely opportunities for sure. Some of them, I mean, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes people just don't qualify.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I had multiple people where I could have submitted them. It's like,
It's
it
not
just
worth
didn't
it,
always
bro.
make
Yeah.
sense.
If it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen, it's not gonna. And like you want to do right by the client, right? Like you're not trying to scam people. Like you want to do right, or even then, just like you don't want to write bad business, right?
I mean, you want to write a good amount to have that, what they call instant gratification.
Yeah.
But you also got to know, hey, dude, it's a business. If you plan to do this long term, you're going to need this shit to stay on the books, right? You
Yeah.
can't get your commissions and bail out and go start fucking working at the car wash or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's pretty cool because I would say like on average, you were typically taking like probably what like 5 to 8 billable calls a day. So it's not like this, but obviously, like you said, this was a supplement. So it's not like you're taking like a lot of agents, 10, 20 calls a day. You get through it
mhm,
quickly. The first 20, a lot of times people are gonna, there's a learning curve to it. And then once you start
mhm.
getting it, and you had a call with my trainers, right? Do you feel like you got anything from that?
I did, yeah, and it was yeah, I mean I thought I like sent you a note because I remember what they told me something specific, just little short verbs like, hey, are you calling to qualify?
Yeah.
And said it's kind of like because in a sense it's almost like granted it's an inbound, right? So you think you're like, oh, they're ready to buy, but it's like you kind of have to feel it. It's still kind of a cold call,
Yeah.
right? So you kind of have to really it's all about your tonality and just kind of slowing down in the beginning
Yeah.
instead of I feel like I mean just first time doing inbounds, you hear about the buffer, like it's all kind of new, right? So you're like, do I let this guy go? And I honestly just got to the point when it came to like the buffer, I was like, there's no buffer because it's hurting me.
Yeah.
The more I pay attention to the buffer, the less I'm present on that 10-second call,
Yeah.
right? And that it makes or breaks. I mean, they could tell you, you could filter out some of the people right off the rip once you kind of get to some verbs like that. And that's what they hit on in that training too, was like saying things like, these are affordable plans, kind of letting them like keywords saying, hey, this isn't free.
Yeah.
Because I know there's just like any FX, right? A lot of people come into it like, oh, is this given by the state? Is this free? And it's like, you kind of educate a little bit as far as, hey, now there are some, free Social Security benefits from you if you don't already know about this. It's $255 comes from Social Security. However, obviously, most families know it's not enough to cover the cost. So these plans are designed to kind of fill that gap. And then just, I mean, that's about it. Yeah. But to your point, backtrack. So I would say, yeah, I was averaging. I mean, to be honest, at the end, I'm getting pretty much damn near 50. Like if I do 4 calls, I'll close two.
Let's go.
And sometimes for me, I just kind of, I probably didn't lock in as much as I could because I'd get my one or two and then just kind of go on to the mortgage or what.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, I mean, it is just a grind, right? So doing that for 8 hours a day, I mean, one week I did kind of lock in and should have burnt me out
Yeah.
just because it's just a conversation, right? Or having to the clients aren't necessarily always honest, right? Just because there's, oh yeah, I'm healthy and 3 or 4 applications and no sale, or then you're pivoting to GI and then you're backtracking a little bit, you know?
The game we play of FEX, right?
Yeah, yeah, just
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty normal. I mean, I think I told you even prior to doing these calls with you, I haven't done FEX in shit about a year. So
Yeah.
these were my first rounds of actually kind of doing FEX leads. And you just kind of had to change a little bit, going from a mortgage clientele where they're kind of used to everything like this versus kind of just at some point you do have to ask, I kind of made note like the more controlling questions you ask, and the script does just that. So the new script you guys came out with, that thing was money. I mean, I was able to
Oh,
read it damn near like word for word
yeah.
and convert,
Yeah.
because it really slows it down. It lets them. What I really liked about, I was talking to some agents, our agents, that it basically it's not tricking them, right? So there's
Yeah.
multiple spots within the script where it's kind of slowing it down, verifying affordability, verifying draft dates, making sure this is something comfortable for them on a monthly basis before you just dive right into approval. Because my first, a lot of FEX is, oh, just seeing if we can get you approved. And it's like that doesn't work. It gets them approved, and then it gets you a chargeback, and then you're getting get letters and all that, So I like the fact that the script really kind of factored in the quality as well throughout the script instead of just pounding the applications.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's dope.
Um,
Okay, cool. So, like, yeah, it's so funny too because, like, a lot of times agents will tell me, they'll be like, dude, like, can you do like a minimum of 50? And I say, fuck no, I'm not going to do a minimum of 50 because if Keegan that closed yesterday, you log in, you take one call, you fucking close it, right? If
right,
that
right.
Keegan could go back to Keegan on call 12, and you're like, dude, I've taken 12 of these. I haven't gotten a sale. Maybe I try to get an app. What would Keegan yesterday go back and say to Keegan on call 12 on just like mindset or maybe some tips? Like what would you say? Or maybe an agent that's trying to come in like there's a curve to it, like a bit of a learning curve when you come from, well, one, like you were saying, you hadn't even fucking sold X in like a year and a half. And then you come in and
Right.
now it's inbound calls. Like these are high quality people coming in looking for a quote. What would you tell him?
Yeah, I would say just kind of, I guess go into more of like a can-do type of attitude, or like that it works. Like have trust in. I would say more so have trust in your own ability and believe in yourself. To at the end of the day, and everyone says this, right? A lead's a lead. So
Yeah.
all it is it's a conversation,
Yeah.
right? So it just so happens the person's coming to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's a sale.
Yeah.
Right. Like I just kind of mentioned a little bit ago, it is somewhat like a cold call. They don't know you. They don't know if it's real. They're coming off of Meta or Google, wherever they're coming from. They still don't trust that 100%. Right. So you have to be believe in yourself that one, you trust the lead, you trust that your ability to take care of them, your ability to have like their best interests in mind. And then, maybe not worry about, I would say, like your initial investment, or not really like trying a 50 pack. Someone like that mindset to me just means like I'm just going to try to see if it works, if just try it out. It's like, well, go all in or don't do it at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, lead flow, I mean, it is the cash flow, right? And I would just say, just to keep it simple, have belief in yourself to serve that client as best as possible. That's
Cool.
probably the easiest way I can say it. You don't want to, because if you're not believing in yourself because you're overthinking the lead, the buffer time, maybe they're coming into it, say you pick up the phone, they're like, "Oh, is this free?" Doesn't mean it's a bad lead. At the end of the day, you're still having that conversation. So that's your job to kind of be the professional, if you will, and say, "Hey, educate," right? So don't just say no and move forward, right? Because you're
Yeah.
just going to lose them. They're going to hang up.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of educating to an extent, but then figuring out they clicked on it for a reason, right? And they're clicking on it. The reason is they don't want their family burden when they pass. So you always have to be able to tie in the value to that. And the belief starts with that. So you have to believe in the product and believe that you can take care of them to the best of your ability. And then on the flip side, if you can't take care of them, you need to be okay to walk away with that.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's, I mean, that's any type of lead,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Speaking of lead types, like you've worked with probably quite a bit. I mean, you're doing appointments for mortgage right now. I'm sure you've worked real-time opt-ins. You probably maybe you've taken live transfers. Like for somebody that's currently outbound dialing and is like considering coming over to do inbounds, do you think that's a good idea? Do you think it's like smarter to do that? Do you think outbound dialing, like I mean, you ran with us once, you said, you might come on again for another round. Like what would you tell some like do you think it's a good lead type? Where are you at there?
Yeah, so the thing I like about it, yeah, I would say, yeah, I hate outbound dialing. Like
Yeah.
I it's just a grind, and I mean, I've been in it for about 2 years now, so at some point you got to level yourself out of that the day to day. Granted, you can always get back in. Anytime you
Yeah.
outbound dial, you're always going to make more.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that, yeah, I mean, number one, the cost of the lead is very, I mean, it's comparable to a lot of the other X leads out there that come with OTP, landers,
Yeah.
you name it, right? So the cost, I like that side of it. And then I like the fact, yeah, you just power on the CRM, and I mean within like a minute you're getting a call.
Yeah.
So yeah, as far it is definitely the way I call it, it's like instant gratification. Like if you're lacking momentum or you're doing some outbounds, people are hanging up on you. So let me just flick this on, or
Let's
and
go.
then boom,
Yeah.
and then because all at the end of the day, all we're looking for to accomplish an application and help a family is that conversation,
Yeah.
right? And then there's certain things you have to say within the conversation, and it's really just finding the need.
Yeah.
Right. But you kind of have to, with different people, you're going to have to kind of, I guess, feel if there is some like initial objection or say resistance because they think it's free or they're on a fixed income, they think it's going to be too much. You have to kind of acknowledge that,
Yeah.
but then still guide them through the process and say, hey, yeah, no, totally understand. Now, I'm assuming, the biggest goal was to make sure that XYZ isn't burdened. Is that fair?
Hmm.
Kind of get them to be on your side before you just power through them.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, I think that's any lead type, but I would say, yeah, number one, I mean, when it comes to like if it was me buying a pack of like outbound FE, I'm doing inbounds all day. There's probably no question about that, just because traditionally FEX leads, they just don't answer.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it take or you're doing $350 a day, which it works. Don't get me wrong. I mean, everything works, but
Yeah.
it's like, how can you really maximize your time and be the whole goal of like inbounds is being intentional with your time,
Yeah.
right? So it's like, okay, and I like the fact, I just like the schedule. I mean, it's pretty much, I mean, I'm Central Time, so it's on a different time zone, but for me, it's pretty much 9 to 4.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't have like and anytime you buy like a lead pack, right? So you're getting these leads that just come in or they drip in on you. They majority of if you buy 100, I would say 50 of them come in at midnight, 1 a.m., 3 a.m. And then those people never answer because
Yeah.
that's when they're up, is they're up during the night.
Yeah.
And you don't really have to, and then you burn yourself out going through that. So these people, they're calling during certain hours. And then as the agent, as far as investing in the lead type, right, you don't have to have that, I don't know what you'd call it, but like that overwhelming feeling where like, all these leads are coming, I need to get to them, I need to get to them,
Mhm.
right? Where you're feeling like you're kind of burning money, right? If you don't call them.
Yeah.
And this allows you to, I mean, shoot, realistically, I spread 100 calls out over almost a month, but I mean, that's just because I could have done better. And even after going through these numbers with you, I'm like, man, I really should have, like, if I do the next 100 pack, it's Monday through Friday, we're
Yeah.
blowing through them all. The rate I was going, I can't even see myself taking 10 inbounds.
Got it.
just because you're, as long as you're getting through that conversation. Now, if you're getting hung up on, that's, I guess, one thing. If people are trying inbounds and they can't get to options, it's something they're doing wrong. They're not following the script. They're just being way too direct, I guess, is maybe what I would say. Because if you can't get to options with these, I mean, that's what they're looking for. They're calling for options, right? So if you can't get to the point where you're, hey, grab that pen and paper, I'm gonna have to jot down some notes. I think it is very important, just like the script says. This really slows it down, right? Because you're doing a little bit of discovery. You kind of told them what you're gonna do, how you're gonna help accomplish it. You do the discovery, burial, cremation, health, and then from there, that's kind of when it's like a kind of slows it down, right? All right, do me a paper, grab a pen and paper. First thing I want to do is give you my information, spell out first and last name, real slow, make sure they have that. They love that.
Yeah.
The seniors love it because they want to know. They don't know. All they did was click on an ad.
Yeah.
Now they're talking to you. So I haven't really done the whole, let me send you a text and get my, because they're senior. I'm not gonna,
Yeah.
it's gonna take a while. They are more of a pen and paper kind of people anyway. So it's like grab that pen and paper and give you some important information to write down while the system loads up these options, right? Give them name, number. Now, in case we get disconnected or you need to get a hold of me in the future, here's my direct number. That is already there. It's like pre-faming, like I'm gonna help you out.
Yeah.
I'm here for you when you need me, right? So then they kind of get this trust in them, right? So before you're just delivering options or trying to like go off a budget or this figure, none of that. You're letting them trust you, right? And then you kind of go over those benefits. I like how that is. The script is solid. Like now I'm going through this because there's a section in it. You kind of go over the benefits, like these are whole life plans. But I always say, now, like I said before, I always say that, like I'm reiterating myself, right? So I'm making it clear that I'm not trying to get anything past you. Like I said before, number one, these are state approved plans. They don't cancel or expire. Great news. Number two, there's no medical exam, so you don't have to see a doctor or nurse, nothing like that. Payment amount never goes up, premiums never decrease. And then, of course, if we do get you approved, nothing's necessarily due today, right? You start this when you get your benefits, the first third of the month. Now, I think just by that line alone, it does, and it's not like tactic or anything, but just by the verbiage and how you're saying that, it makes them feel like you're tying it to their Social Security,
Yeah.
right? Like it's just like
Which you should,
like
right? Like if they're on Social Security, you don't want to be drafting on the 22nd when they have no money, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that's their initial hesitation is like, oh, I know it's gonna cost. I don't get paid till the 21st, right? So if you're able to get in front of that, it's really good. And then you say, all right, cool. Got some options pulled up. I'm go over the top options recommended for you. I could always design these to meet your budget as needed. But let's just start with the first one. And we start, a little bit different than I normally do, but we're starting from low to high.
Yeah.
Because if you start with the high on these people, you're gonna get clicked on. If you're trying to show them a max coverage amount right off the rip, because they are on fixed income. I mean, realistically, these people annually make 12 to 20,000. So we have to know that going into it and really show them premiums that actually make sense, right? That aren't just gonna front load you on the commission because that's not gonna help. And
Yeah.
you're just not gonna convert by that either. So I mean, realistically, I think I had some decent, I only had like two smaller premiums, but I had one deal. It was like 229 from America. That covered pretty much the whole cost initially. It was like
Let's
1,900 bucks on the commission.
let's
Yeah. That's
go,
one out of
bro.
14.
Yeah.
But then I did have a couple GIs and stuff. I mean, they're X-ray people aren't healthy. They have heart failure last week. It's like, well, I got something for you. And you just go, you
Yeah.
wait. You
Yeah.
tell them about the waiting period and just say, you just kind of got to be truthful. I mean, it's really the only thing to say. I think at one point, I'll be honest, when the first day when I went like 1 for 21, I was just, I don't know. I was looking at, like I said, I was looking at the buffer time. I was like getting upset maybe because they were saying it was free, right? So it's just like, it really, like, I think I sent a couple of notes like, hey, these people are calling back. And I was like, dude, like a lead's a lead. You think about it, you could buy a $30 lead from a fresh pack and call it a disconnected number. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And that to your point, that's why 100, I mean, I probably wouldn't do anything less than 100 just to make sure.
You get ROI. And a
Correct.
fat
Yeah.
ROI nonetheless, too. And that's the other thing, too. Like, even if somebody's good, right? For you, right? 21, you're not through 50, right? But you're through 21. Okay, now I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, now we get to 40. Okay, I made my money back. But like, you didn't make a lot of money. When somebody comes, they takes 100 calls, they spent 2650, they wrote $14,000 of premium, they made back just over 10. Like, yo, okay, all right, yeah, I can do this shit. And then, like you said, to your point, like the more you do, the faster you're gonna get good And then as soon as you're good, now we're fucking, now you're like, I've got agents closing 1 out of 3, 1 out of 5 of these things. Like you said, you'll take 4, you'll close 2. Like that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like that's awesome. So that makes me super happy because man, this is hard. I got agents that, they'll come at me, they'll call me and I'm just like, bro, I'm doing everything I possibly can to help you success to the point where I've even hired sales trainers. Like I have sales trainers that are there to support you. And it's not because it's an ego thing of like, oh, you're not good at sales. It's just like, sometimes it's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. Sometimes just an outside perspective is super valuable. And if I can do that and it helps one agent, bro, it's worth it for me.
Yeah, and those yeah, I remember that because I only did the one call. It was like after 15 calls or whatever, and there's key points at that time. That during the call, like I had already kind of figured out the switch, right? So I was like, oh, okay, like they
Yeah.
were kind of going over stuff. I was like, yeah, I know that was bad, right? But then there was like little things that I was missing, and it was just kind of like small words, and then yeah, once you kind of once you I guess learn from that or whatever, or put that in, start fixing that right away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's night and day difference. So, I mean, I'm even to the point now. I mean, the call yesterday, I don't necessarily have to like mirror the script. I mean, sometimes if you're reading the script word for word and you're not listening, right? So,
Yeah.
I would say that's part of it. I would say, and that's one thing I guess I didn't mention. So, every time before I start, I read that script 2 times out loud to myself.
Wow. That's dope.
Because it really, yeah, because you have to have, if you're reading the script, and I mean, everyone does it. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Because you can't, it's hard for me to, maybe it's just like my attention to detail, because I can't like listen to someone and read a script.
Yeah.
I can, but then I'm not, if you're not in listening, yeah,
Yeah.
you're missing key points, right? You might say, they may say they had coverage. And if you're just like, you're going through it, then you're showing them 10K, but maybe you only need to show them 5,
Yeah.
So ask the questions. Obviously, I don't think they really asked about current coverage on there. I did start asking that just because I was kind of getting to the end and I lost deals because of that. Because like, oh, I already had X amount.
Got it.
So your job is to kind of ask that power question. Hey, so if you're looking to be buried, right? I'm assuming most families in your situation, they're setting up at least 10,000 for that. Now, just to better understand how it can help you, how much do you have today without this coverage that would pay towards that 10 grand? Boom. Instead of just asking, like, do you already have insurance? Like, obviously, it's saying the same thing, but it's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically saying, hey, most families, you kind of want to put them in that sheep crowd, right? Hey, most families we help. For burial, it's about 10,000. Obviously, we could look at more depending on what you're looking to do. But what do you have today that would pay towards that 10,000 without doing anything, right?
With my training team, like, would you say that would you say that like an agency, right? So you have an agency, they have their agents right now, their agents are outbound dialing. Would you recommend that they're oh dude, no, is my internet buggy? Okay, no, we're good. Would you recommend that agencies that have agents underneath of them outbound dialing or doing whatever AI or whatever they're doing, would you recommend them coming on to inbound as well? Or do you think that it's like only for solo producers? Is this for full agencies? What do you think from Keegan's perspective?
So I would say, I mean, I would say agency is probably better because they're the ones that probably have more new agents.
Got it.
So I think for new agents, like maybe where the agency's like covering that cost because it is, I mean, it depends on where you're at, right? Because maybe a new agent's not going to have, 2K plus to put into it right away.
Yeah.
So, but it is, I mean, the purpose of the job is to have a conversation. So, I mean, there's nothing like having them call you, right?
Yeah.
And then to that point, it's like kind of like I mentioned earlier, if they can't get options out, then it's something they're saying because the leads, that's exactly what they're calling for is the options. So if you can't get them the price out, and I mean, there's sometimes you're going to say price and they're going to hang up on it is what it is, right? They probably couldn't afford it. It's fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say, I mean, if you're experienced into like agent looking to do it, I would probably recommend it then because you want to have a little bit of skill and be able to objection or I don't want to say objection handle or clarify is what I always like to say, kind of clarify the situation.
Yeah.
New agents have a hard time doing that because they get higher tone, they get nervous, they talk really fast, and then they're seniors, right? So they just hang up.
Yeah.
Um, but then you look at it if an agency, I know because I know a ton of agencies do this where they, new people are coming in. Agency may cover some of that lead cost for them, give them like a lower comp or whatever. But it's gonna help them with your guys' support and then the agency like upline support or whatever it is. There's no way they can't win. And
Yeah.
they're definitely not going to spend 12, 16 hours a day dialing 300 dials.
And then
So, I
losing
mean,
agents, right? Because like, what's the point in recruiting an agent for them to come on, dial 300 people for 5 days and be like, bro, this is fucking stupid. I'm not even getting people on the phone. And they had to pay for those leads and they're not having any sales conversations. Like, shit, you may as well put that same 500 into getting inbound calls and then at least have legit conversations and like try to close something, get them into the app rather than just like not having any fucking conversations and being like, damn, this shit's fake. That's kind of where like my mindset is on it. It's just like for agencies, I understand a lot of times, and it makes a lot of sense. They're like, dude, I'm not going to buy a bunch of leads for a brand new agent. Okay, have them outbound dial, but give them 5 calls a day. Just give it, or at least have them sit in
right.
with an agent and watch that shit and be like, bro, you grind for 2 weeks on the outbound, motherfucker, you get 1, 2 sales. I'm putting you on inbound next week. Like that's kind of what I want them to do because I don't want to just throw random agents here that don't give a shit and they're not paying for their calls or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I do also want to make sure that they have that light at the end of the tunnel. Like, no, like I can make that money because we got Keegan over here where you like for lack of better words, you kind of halfway try with the inbounds as far as like making it a focus, right? It's a supplement, no problem. But you got somebody
Right.
supplementing their shit with inbounds. And this guy's ripping 14K premium on his first round through. Never taken inbounds in his life for final expense before. Hasn't sold final expense for a year and a half. Comes through, writes, 4x on an advance. Like, bro, let's go. That's so fire. Like now we can
Yeah.
see there's a legitimate opportunity there. Like imagine round 2 and 3 and 4. Like you're gonna only get better as long as you're one of those people like me where I'm just constantly focused on getting better. Great.
Yeah, I would say, because to the point, I mean, if you look at the basics of like life, like any lead type, right? It's a need, right? So people do need it.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily want. So the product it does sell itself. So it's the law of averages. I mean, I think any standard expectation that probably every agent or agency has is 300 dials, 5 presentations, or 2 sales. So it's like if I do inbounds, I could probably get to those 5 presentations a lot quicker, right? Maybe I get to 10, and then man, at the end of the day, 25, 1 out of 3 people are going to buy anyways.
Yeah.
So unless you have to be doing something wrong to be able to not, if anyone's zeroed out on a pack of 100, I'd be very surprised.
No, it's like there's gonna be laydowns, bro. At least 5% of the leads are gonna, I mean, but the craziest thing is if you have an average AP of 3K, right? And as long as your shit goes through, obviously, you close 3 sales out of 100 calls, bro, you're making your money back, unless you're like
Yeah.
a Globe Life 40% comper, but like, nah, nothing I can do for you there, but
Right,
like,
right.
but,
Yeah.
but that's the thing. As long as you have a healthy comp, you can make this shit happen, it's gonna make money, but. Well, I actually have a call. I'm 4 minutes late too. I appreciate you hopping on here so much, bro.
You're
Like,
good, bro.
thanks for giving me this. You didn't have to do a testimonial video, man. I appreciate you very much, and I'm glad we were able to serve you, and I'm glad you had a good experience with us. And I just hope to continue to do business with you and help any agents that that you have under you to make them make you a lot of money too, bro. Thank you again. I
For
appreciate it.
sure, man. Absolutely, sir. Take care.
All
Talk
right, have a
soon.
great one. See you, Kevin.